Wildin' Out. Is it season 20?
Yeah, we coming up on 20 right now.
It's crazy because I do feel like when we think of like the most successful TV shows ever, I think that like Wildin' Out has surpassed so many of the shows that we look back on and be like, this, like, I think sometimes it's almost like when LeBron's playing, we don't realize we're watching LeBron.
Yeah.
And I feel like one day when Wildin' Out's over,
they're going to appreciate
we're going to be like, damn, Wildin' Out was on for X amount of years and was heat. And there was all these moments with all these fucking legendary artists and like just so many just memorable moments.
And the fact that what's dope about it, because you bring up a good point of like what the definition of what a TV show is, we know because that's our generation. The kids today don't even understand it to be a TV show. They understand it's like a TikTok,
Reels.
YouTube viral sensation. Kids used to come up to me and be like, oh man, I love your show. It's my favorite show. Now kids come up to me like, man, I love your videos.
Yeah.
I love, like I love the content. Like they literally say that. So it's like nobody watches the big shit on the wall anymore. It's like it's in their hands on the iPads, and we're probably more successful online than we were on television.
Well, the show's like very great for today's like environment.
Yeah.
Just the clips.
Yep, them smart. We know how to compartmentalize and break up those clips for all day long. And so one of the most, I think we're probably the biggest digital imprint in the whole entire Paramount network. That includes Comedy Central. That includes BET.
Is Wildin' Out?
Yeah, it's Wildin' Out. And we have more followers on YouTube, more followers on TikTok than anything else in the Paramount ecosystem.
So
maybe the Daily Show might be like close on one of those.
Can you give me some insight on like the beginning of Wildin' Out? Like the break, like like this is your baby, this is your your idea. Like,
yeah, man, I was just really trying to fucking give my friends jobs. Like at the end of the day, like people didn't know who Kevin Hart and Affion Crockett, D. Ray Davis, Cat Williams,
you made
Mikey
a lot
Day.
of these guys, man.
They didn't know,
and I don't mean you made.
Yeah,
them.
I don't want to say that was wrong,
but you helped
shine.
You helped put them on a national stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And because actually they were all my colleagues and counterparts. They were the people that I came up with.
Were you doing a little stand up at a certain point in time?
That's where I started.
Because you started in San Diego doing stand up, right?
Yeah, I started doing stand. I mean, I started in that space. I started in music, obviously, when I was even younger. But stand up is what put me on the map. Got me my first deal at Jamie Foxx's Lollapalooza in Atlanta, and then from there.
By the way, prayers with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, always. I'm believing in 100% complete healing. That's my brother right there. We've been praying strong for.
I Might Need Security, one of the best specials ever.
Yeah, and first of all, he's the most talented man
human,
on the planet.
100%. Yeah, I say it's either him or Chris Brown.
Those are the 1 and 2.
Those are the two.
Those are the 1 and 2.
There's
and
nobody else.
Because Chris hasn't been able to spread his wings the way Fox has in the
Well, I look at Chris as like, Chris is really good at basketball.
Yeah.
And he can paint a mural.
Yeah, facts. Like
all the other shit aside.
But think about like Jamie is amazing at football.
Stand up. Sing,
classical piano,
everything.
impressions.
No, between the two of them,
and both of them like the nicest human beings in the world. So it's like it's you want to go to either party at either one of those dudes' house.
So for Wildin' Out, you kind of come from the stand-up background. These are your friends. These are guys who you consider your peers. And for you, it was like, what? There's not an outlet.
Well, I was doing movies and music and stuff at the time. So
yeah, Love Don't Cost a Thing was already on. You were popping.
Yeah, and those cats was looking at me like, "Yo, man, spread the love." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go to MTV," because I was hosting TRL, doing all that stuff. So I went to them, and they didn't understand it at first. They was like, "You want to do what?"
Right.
And I was like, "Nah, we got this comedy club, and we do this." And it was like they didn't really understand it. So I was like, "All right, fuck it, I'll rent the comedy club on myself." Got some cameras together. Called everybody to the club, and we shot that shit, and therefore I own the IP since the day one.
So you bankrolled the demo.
Yep.
Shot the demo yourself.
Facts.
And then shopped it around.
And then now I had all of the equity and the negotiating power.
Because so for people who don't know, I think a lot of people are a little bit more familiar with like record deals.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get a TV show deal, usually a production company comes in with the money to pay for the pilot, and that's their excuse to take ownership.
Exactly.
But if you handle that yourself,
then
now you come to the table. I already got this handled.
Yeah.
You want it or not.
Yeah. And then everything from the Wildin' Out logo to all this was all owned by me.
Was it a scary situation where they tried getting you up out of here and it felt like they took you off TV? They try
to cancel me like at least once a year.
Well, I mean, no, I know, but there was the time, I think it was a couple years ago when you had that interview. I forget. I don't even want to get into the specifics.
But that's, I mean,
but it was a learning moment that you went through with everybody.
100%. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Like moments like that either show your toughness or show how quickly you can fold. So, you know, I think Martin Luther King said it best. He's like, the true test of a man's character isn't in times of comfort, but in times of controversy. Mm-hmm. So that just shows you how solid I was to every community, to where most people instantly or they waver. And where like I leaned into it and then began to understand and really focus not only on my business and saw who was riding with me and who wasn't, but then at the same time, any wrongdoings that I made, I corrected, as every man should.
And I think we need to be more. I mean, it's kind of crazy because we don't give a lot of people that opportunity anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, I got another show that I'm creating right now that I already created, that we already shot, that'll be debuting pretty soon. But literally deals with that. I mean, I coined the frame council culture. It's not about cancel culture. It's council culture. Don't cancel one another. Counsel one another. To take like your brother and show him how to shake it up and how to really get it right and give him an opportunity. None of us are greater than God, and so we should allow him to be the one to judge.
Yeah, I feel like in a time where like we're so at least perceived, I think we have a lot more in common than people would like to talk about.
Yeah, they always say there's more similarities than differences.
There's like these small things that people are far apart on, but everything else, they everyone loves their family. Everyone wants to be safe. Everyone wants to be prosper. But if you don't agree on this or this, it's like you got to hate the other person. And I think
and that's, I mean, a Buddhist mentality is we are one without none and none without one. So in that idea of like we need each other to operate, and if we keep allowing the powers that be to split us up,
it really feels like it's some powers that be shit, bro.
Yeah, like, because that's how they control you. They control you, divide and conquer.
That's really
But if you really understand, like, again, like, we got more similarities and differences, and the shit that we bicker about. I mean, that's one of the things that is, I say Wild 'N Out is the most progressive show on television, because we can have people from two different walks of life. We can have someone from the Jewish community, someone from the Muslim community, and they go at it and hug it out at the end. We can have a homophobic person and a transgender person go at it and hug it out at the end, but they talk the most shit, say the most stereotypical, offensive stuff. But when you say it's up all of the guides of family and comedy and humor, we win. So, but when you allow that stuff to be rooted in hate, and therefore you think you better than somebody else because of your life experience and vice versa, that's where shit goes wrong.
Yeah, I think it's like people will talk people will make mistakes, and I think that's just human nature.
Yeah.
So if someone makes a mistake that's not from a hateful place,
exactly, correct.
Talk to them.
Yeah, that's why they put erasers on pencils.
It's like yo,
I don't fuck with earthlings.
So the new show that you're working on is called Council Culture.
Yeah, you getting the exclusive here, because I actually wasn't supposed to talk about that yet. But yeah, that's it's something I kind of realized, man, that when I was doing my daytime talk show, I was like, this ain't where the bag is. You know what I mean? All of that Ellen money and Oprah money, they came and scooped all of that up.
Yeah, it's kind of like they kind of got the last of that money.
Yeah. So I went in there. I was like, there's no way that this makes sense to it takes 16 hours to make 1 hour
and the
content.
Bandwidth of doing it every day.
Yeah, like it was trying to do radio, like it was literally draining me. So I had to step away. So I was like, I want to be able to do the same thing, have the same type of impact, but consolidated and do
12 episodes a season or something.
Yeah, but really, what even on a daily perspective, it's like it has to be able to be a part of my lifestyle, opposed to me trying to come here and show up for work. Like, I don't work for nobody. So it's like, if it feels like I got a job, then I'm out. But the fact that I can actually live my life and document the process and show the process and actually truly help people, and the fact that I go to therapy a few times a week, how can I bring that to the table? The fact that I have great relationships with the mothers of my children, and knowing how fascinated and intrigued people are by my life, how can I offer that in a way to not only I can be open and honest and control my own narrative, but then at the same time monetize it.